expected to face higher energy bills this winter, despite the energy price cap decreasing.
Well, this has come in from the Resolution Foundation think tank, and it's warning that the withdrawal of energy support schemes and an increase in the standing charges could lead to higher costs across the board for 1 in 3 households.
So what does this mean for you at home as we get closer to that winter period? Well, Liam Halligan, GBNews' economics and business editor, is here with us in the studio with On the Money. Liam, it sounds like that it doesn't matter how much you try to reduce using your electricity, don't take as many baths, etc., you're still going to have to pay this standing charge, which sounds completely unfair.
Well, we're approaching September. The kids are going back to school quite soon. The nights will soon be drawing in. And so a lot of people are thinking about this winter. What kind of winter is it going to be? Because we know, Pip, that even though energy bills soared last winter, not least after Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, we know that last winter was actually relatively mild. It wasn't nearly as cold as many previous winters. So even though many of us had really high heating bills and electricity bills, they could easily have been much higher had the weather not been on our side. So what's the weather going to be like this year? Well, most long-range forecasts suggest it is going to be a colder winter. And so many people are now thinking about what energy bills will be. There's an assumption that, of course, they're going to be lower and inflation is going to come down and so on. But that needn't be the case. And I think discussion about this is really going to start in earnest tomorrow. There's a lot of news going on today with Donald Trump, but here at GB News, we like to be quite early. So let's have a look just on a graphic here at some of the details. We know that tomorrow Ofgem, the regulator, is going to unveil its new energy price cap. That energy price cap will be effective from the 1st of October, and it's likely to fall from where it currently is, just over £2,000 to £1,878. That's not a cap on your total bill. It is the cap on what is the average bill for the average household with average use. So it's a cap on units of electricity that you use, not on your total bill. But as Mark said, we also know that the government had a sort of 400 quid a year subsidy pretty much for all households that just automatically came off your bill. That's now gone. So we're going to be exposed more to market prices. And we also know, courtesy of the Resolution Foundation, and I tip my hat to them for highlighting this, it's something I wasn't aware of, I'll freely admit, that Ofgem seems to have done a deal with the electricity providers, the ones that remain, because many went bust, to allow them to increase so-called standing charges. This is the kind of fixed cost for every household that's connected to the grid. And that means that the increase in that will disproportionately harm poorer households who have lower bills, who are then trying to economise and use less energy. So it is a bit of a kick in the teeth, and it argues against the idea that bills are automatically going to be cheaper this winter.
It will be a shock because of during the summer people have used so much less gas and electricity.
And it will be a shock because I think we're all kind of, I sit here and I say what I think I know, that maybe 1, maybe 2 more, we're sort of through the worst of inflation and maybe not too many more, keep going. The cost of living crisis is almost on its way out now, but that may not be the case. And look at these estimates from the Resolution Foundation, and they are sort of broadly a Labour supporting think tank, but I don't think this is just mischief making. I think there's some genuine analysis behind this. They're saying that 7.2 million, about a third of the households in England, are going to be facing higher electricity bills this winter, not lower, which is against most people's assumptions. They say the average standing charge is going to go up from about £220 a year up to £300 a year, say the Resolution Foundation. And then also, we've been talking about this, haven't we? Van drivers, people filling their cars will know that in recent weeks, petrol and diesel prices have started to go back up again because oil prices have gone up by about 20% since late June. And then since mid-July, the wholesale gas price itself has gone up by almost 50%. So the idea that electricity bills are going to be benign this winter, that's an assumption that is looking a bit too complacent.
Where is Ofgem on this? Because it's supposed to be the public watchdog to keep an eye on the various independent companies. What are they saying about, ahead of the announcement tomorrow, the standing charge? Because it's not, as you're saying, related to the wholesale cost at all. It's just a tariff they put on you, whether you like it or not.
I think the reason the Resolution Foundation has released this overnight today is so the likes of us will report it, because it's in our trade it's a good story. Not in that it's a nice story. It's a story that we think will resonate with
and people need to know about
GBNews viewers and listeners. So the Resolution Foundation have clearly found some documentation from some sort of statutory bylaws from within the industry that Ofgem are allowing the energy providers to do this. The energy providers will say, we've lost lots of money in the crisis. Lots of us have gone bust, so we've had to absorb the customers of other companies to maintain continuity of supply, because, of course, it's a vital service, electricity, heating and lighting and so on. And I think Ofgem are almost going to be forced tomorrow morning, when they release this new energy price cap, to issue a clarification of some kind. Yeah. So I'm going to be reporting on this tomorrow morning to see if this stuff is actually going to come true or not.
It's not even as if people can shop around at the moment to alleviate the pain.
Yeah. Well, because of one thing about the price cap, Pip, is that the price cap very quickly became a kind of price floor. All the providers just went straight to the cap. And so competition's gone from the marketplace. There's been very little benefit to be had from switching, and we were hoping there was going to be more competition coming in this winter, which would have benefited consumers. But the combination of things, the fact that this winter's likely to be colder, the fact that geopolitically things are still pretty dicey. The Saudi Arabians, you think that they're a kind of Western ally. They're going to join this BRIC conglomerate of sort of Russia, India and China and Brazil, a sort of alternative power base for the world. And then, of course, we've got strikes for gas workers in Australia happening. Australia, a massive exporter of LNG, liquefied natural gas. It's not that we use Aussie gas, but if there's less of that in the global marketplace, then that will impact everything. That will impact prices here. Yeah. So look, this is really, really complicated stuff, and what we're trying to do here is elucidate these issues behind the headlines. I'll have more to say when I see the colour of Ofgem's money, if you like, tomorrow. We see where the price cap is, if it is going to come down significantly, and see what they have to say, because they're going to have to say something about the extent to which they're going to allow companies to massively increase standing charges by 20, 30, 40%, because those standing charges disproportionately harm poorer families.
Sounds completely unfair. But thanks, Liam, for explaining it all. See you tomorrow.